Oh, Gayle Sayers.
Gayle Sayers, Gayle Sanders. I remember Sanders probably because I'm an Eagles fan. But hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, 302 Birds community? We are currently live with Gayle Saunders, my guy from 402 Jawn. You can follow him right now. He's got a ton of great content, and he's one of the co-founders of 402 Jawn. I was asking him earlier about how he became an Eagles fan, but I think it's just better if he tells you guys himself. So without further ado, Mr. Saunders. Yeah. Mr. Saunders, tell us about how you became a Birds fan and what makes 4th and Jawn 4th and Jawn.
First of all, I was like, my father named me after, Gayle Sayers, the Chicago running back. So I'm like, I'm gonna be a Chicago Bears fan because, the Bears when I was a little kid was like they were about to win the Super Bowl. I'm like, I'm riding with the Bears. I bought a Bears jacket. My dad was like, "Nah, son, we ain't doing that. You made me take it back." Meanwhile, I live in Connecticut, so I'm wondering why my dad is making me fight for the Birds. And then, Randall Cunningham became a thing, and I just loved him. And he ended up getting injured. He breaks his leg. Somebody sends me an anonymous package with a broken leg of a Randall doll, and I'm crying as I open the thing up. My dad's like, "What's wrong with you, son?" I'm like, "Somebody sent me a doll in the mail, Randall Cunningham. They cut the leg and it's broke." And I'm like, "Who would do this?" And my dad's like, I'm crying. He's like, "You're an Eagle fan, son. You are an Eagle fan officially." So ever since then, I've been fighting for the Eagles for so long. So it's been a thing, and now it's my passion has been is driven. It's made me even a little bit more crazy these days, but still the same fan. Crazy.
Well, what's cool I think about that is how you just kind of grew up as a passionate fan, like every Eagles fan. Everybody has a different story about how they came here, but on Sunday we're all on the same team, and that's the beautiful thing about Eagles fans. We all come together on Sunday. And we all, root for the same team, and we all get passionate. That's the thing about Eagles fans. We get crazy. And he said it to me when he came in. He was like, "Yeah, you guys are crazy." And I was like, "Thank you." That's like a compliment to Eagles fans. Like, thank you. We are crazy. That means we're passionate. But, without further ado, Jackson, is your mic working? Can you give us the honors tonight, are you thinking?
Let's hope it works.
All right, 302 Birds community, you guys already know I'm super excited to invite our guest tonight, Gayle Saunders. It's Saunders, right?
Yep.
Cool. I want to make sure I would say it's right. No relation to the running back at all, but do you like that? Let's start off with that. That's one topic that we wanted to talk about tonight. Take it away first, our guest. Do you think that Miles is the future? Do you think that it's kind of like a disposable position where we can put guys in and out? What are you thinking?
I think Miles Sanders, in theory, right? The guy who can break a run from anywhere. If I was there at Buffalo when he ripped that game open with that long run, last season, broke off 3 runs, 80 plus yards. In theory, you'd like to think he's the guy, but can his body hold up? It's really not his skill set. It's more about his body holding up. We talk about getting him 20 carries, getting 15 carries at least. The time that he had a couple games this season where he stacked up some yards, and we're like, yeah, this is the Miles Sanders we hope he becomes and is, and then he gets injured again. So the fact of the matter is, like, we have like the Wu-Tang of backs, and you got a Boston Scott, you got Gainwell, and then you had Howard. But like at the end of the day, I was just having this conversation the other day. I'm like, I would technically like a 3-down back, like, so everything looks the same. Like, when you have backs coming in and out, every single back kind of has their flavor. So defenses can key on some of these things. Having a nice 3-down back, I wanted Devonta Williams out of that who went to the Broncos. I was like, yo, if you just bring in another guy like that dude's a dog, like, and pair him up with Miles Sanders. I don't know. My thing about Miles Sanders is he going to see that second contract with the Eagles? I'm not sure.
That's facts. That is facts.
And I love him. I love the dude. It's just a matter of
will he be here? What do you think in Declan? Like, from an outside opinion, like a Giants fan, what are your thoughts?
I don't know. I think you'd hit the nail on the head. Is he worth paying all that money if he's going to get injured again? I mean, and you have Howard, you have Boston Scott, you have Gainwell, who's proven to be really good. Is it worth paying all that money to one guy when you can get the job done with three other guys with not as big contracts? At least, I mean, you'll probably end up paying Gainwell a lot of money down the road, but I don't know. I don't think it's that worth it, especially if there's a suitor out there for him next season. Not sure when his contract's up, but to me, it's like Josh always says, you got to think twice about paying a running back a lot of money, because you're not going to get as many years out of him as you would, a player at another position. And that's just, a fact of the matter. It's tough trying to pay a guy like that who's already been so injury prone when you're trying to rebuild your franchise a little bit.
Yeah, that's facts. What are you thinking, Jack?
Yeah, so hopefully you guys still hear me. Hopefully that's all good.
We're good. We can hear you.
All right. Yeah, I will say we were at the bar earlier, me and Dalton was making sure he pronounced your name correctly.
I was bugging out. I was like really nervous. I was like, this is 4th and Jawn. When I tell you I've been following you since like 2014, bro, before this, like, you're a big deal to me. Like, I was really, really nervous before this. I was bugging out. Jack's right. I was like, I want to make sure I pronounce his name right, like everything.
We're all crazy Eagle fans, man.
He was asking the fucking bartender, hey, how do you pronounce his name? Like, I don't want to say it wrong. I'm like, dude. But more so on Miles Sanders, as we talked about it on Sunday during the game, I thought he was the guy. But as we all said, he's very injury prone. And right now we have really 3 good running backs. We got Howard, or 4 technically. We got Howard, Boston Scott. I know his contract's up at the end of the season. And then we have Gainwell. I think we can breed Gainwell into a great running back. But I don't think it's worth spending all that money on somebody who's an average running back. Yes, I say average. People may hate that. But the fact that he gets injured a lot it's not worth it. We have these other three running backs that we can utilize. So,
yeah, that's facts. I mean, Jack, why don't you take it away first with this topic? What were your post-game takeaways? Because obviously, I mean, until the second half, this was a very depressing game. But I mean, what are your thoughts?
I mean, I was very upset about how they played. Gayle, you were at the game, right?
Yeah, quite depressing. Seeing it live in uncut.
Yeah, no, it was.
Yeah, why don't you tell us about it? Like, why don't you start? Why don't we kick it to our guest? How did you feel? Like, you were firsthand at the game. What was it like watching it there at Raymond James Stadium?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, we were out there tailgating. Usually that sets off the mood. Everyone was worried about like the wind and the rain and everything. It wasn't that crazy. Shout out to Darius Slay's family. His mom and his wife showed up to our tailgate.
Yo, that's dope.
So that was cool. She hung out, and she was supposed to come to a home tailgate a couple weeks ago, but her son got sick. So she just shouted us out. I was like, I'm showing up. I was like, oh man, this is not the tailgate to come to because we're doing this on the road. But she showed up and she was a real one. But overall, I mean, we had a great tailgate, and then headed into the game. The vibes were there. Eagle fans were going ape shit. I mean, they were really psyched up for this game, and just right off the bat, I think Brady came and sliced and diced the defense, and it started to go the wrong direction, and I felt like Eagle fans really just were dejected. Like I was there for probably 3 years ago when the D-Jacks beat us over top, and I sat probably 2-3 rows over, and I'm sitting in the same section of this last L that we call. I'm like, the vibes are not good, but there's a difference between Bucs fans back then and now, they have a little edge to themselves, hold themselves chest out high. I was like getting heckled by some grandmothers.
Damn.
But it was definitely that one pick that Jalen Hurts threw, and then all of a sudden it started raining. I was like, man, this is not a good sign. It's over. It's over.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very tough to watch.
Yeah. I mean, and like in my opinion, going in this game, I was expecting a lot more than what came out of the game. But I mean, we've talked about it in previous shows. We've answered the naysayers. We weren't supposed to be in the playoffs this year. We weren't supposed to be as far, have a great record as we did this year. So that's a positive thing. But at the same time, the Birds did not look like they were all there. They literally, I honestly think this was their worst game they ever played. It seemed like leading up to this game, like they had, everything gelling, and then fucking Hurts. There was a wide open. We're gonna talk about it later probably. Devonta Smith was wide open on that slant. I think blew that wide open throw to Devonta Smith through a pick. Like he just didn't play the greatest football that he has played this year. And yes, he is a first year quarterback in the playoffs. But I expected a lot more than what came out of it. But at the same time, there's nothing to lose because we have so many first round picks coming our way. So I think hopefully in the offseason, Howie Roseman makes good decisions in the draft, and that we take off. I mean, I'm excited I was happy with what they did this year, all in all.
It's going to be an interesting year. I mean, my post-game takeaways real quick is we got our ass handed to us. I'm not going to lie. If you watch the game, Utah, we got our ass kicked, and it was embarrassing. But, I mean, hey, this team's young. We weren't even supposed to be in the playoffs. So give us some time. We got 3 first-round draft picks. We're going to make it happen. I mean, I hate to say this, and you guys are all going to laugh at me, but in Howie we trust. I mean, I think that we'll get 3 first-round studs this year. I think that it's amazing in the first place that we got to where we are today. I did not think that Jalen Hurts was it going into this season. And then, I mean, that playoff game was pretty bad. I mean, should we just talk about the elephant in the room? I guess, yeah. We'll get into our next topic. But, like, is Jalen Hurts the right guy? What are you guys thinking? Anybody can take this away.
I think if you're going to ask his teammates, you're talking about a guy who came in a locker room last season and kind of won over his guys. When you talk about him, his leadership and his ability to get these guys to follow his lead, it didn't start when he was a starting quarterback. It started building his relationships and the trust in the locker room. Him being super tight with Quez Watkins. Look what his relationship off the field turned to on the field. Talking about Mailata, talking about what Jalen Hurts means to him and how he to him he's QB1 and the way that he carries himself. Like some people might, you talk about this team going 7-2 at the back end of the season on that little run and like getting into the playoffs, getting a team to a 4-win team to go to the playoffs the next season. It takes it's not something to it's not something to just smirk at. It's something that you got to show respect. But I get it. I get it from the standpoint of saying he's not a perfect passer. He's not he's not developed in the pocket yet. We saw some development later on in the season. We saw the heel clicks. We saw the mechanics a little off. Forgetting to get his eyes downfield. Some of those things that we saw early on in the season reared their ugly head during the playoffs. And again, we saw Kyler Murray have a bad game. Quarterbacks are going to have bad games in their first playoff games. But, it's just a matter of right now, do the Eagles want to develop around Jalen Hurts, a guy who's going to make, $1.9 million next season? Perfect QB money. You got the 3 first-round picks. The guy has the locker room. Do you just build around what you've developed this whole season? I think it's something you have to try and do. But I don't trust Howie when he says he's the guy, because I feel like, if if there's the right trade is there, you know, I heard they were looking at Deshaun Watson, sniffing around him. They've always talked about Russell Wilson. I mean, if you look at the Tom Brady effect and you like, hey, if we could get Aaron Rodgers somehow and every other players like Devonta Adams want to come and play, like you could easily turn things around. But I'm not going to speak that into existence yet. I think you have a guy, a cheap quarterback on a rookie deal. Let's fill some of these holes and get the draft work. Get the draft working.
You made a really good point too. Like, if we could get Aaron Rodgers or somebody like that, I don't even know if I would want them. Like, and I'm going to be honest, like I would, but like nobody next year is what I'm saying.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. I know your reaction is crazy, but like it's like I'm looking for the next franchise Patrick Mahomes. I want a dynasty. I'm not satisfied with one Super Bowl. Gayle, tell me, are you tired of hearing Cowboys fans say, I got 5 Super Bowls? Be honest, bro.
Because it's a laughing matter, because like anyone who's in their 20s has never seen a Dallas Cowboy Super Bowl. So like when you had like a Zach Morris phone, or like, check out what the cell phones look like. I mean, VCR tapes were around. Like, don't tell me about anything about watching a Super Bowl, because I get it, man. Like, our Super Bowl's current. That shit is still shiny, glossed up. I still riding the high. So like, I'm not like when Cowboys say that, like we talked about them being bounced in the first round, and they did. Like we all collectively thought, hey, this Cowboy team has potential, and now little pieces are getting picked off. Maybe Kellen Moore might be gone, hopefully, or Quinn might be out of here. They've had a lot of pieces that work. It's just their whole vibe did not work, and they got bounced, and here we are.
Yeah. No, I will say, we talked about it earlier. The Cowboys fans are super sensitive about everything. Like I don't know if you there's NFC Trash Talk on Facebook. We kind of just talk mad shit on the Cowboys.
Yeah, me and Jack are nemesis in that group. Yeah. You want to believe like it's 90% Cowboys fans, Gayle. You would love it. They all talk mad smack, and we just literally like me and Jack are nemesis in that group. Like they hate us. They hate us.
No. They get really butthurt about certain things that like, oh my god, calm down, dude, relax. We know how to place a ball and make sure the line judge touches the ball before we start the game. You know what I mean? But after, in all seriousness,
the Sanchez.
Like, what?
I said the Sanchez. Look at him.
Oh God, no.
He's wearing Steven Nelson's number.
Oh Jesus Christ, that guy. But fumble and all. Oh Jesus Christ.
What a guy.
Why is Mark Sanchez this graphic, Dalton?
Because the Cowboys fucking suck.
One more playoff win than the
Cowboys
Cowboys.
Fans. It's not funny because you guys suck. It's just really funny because you guys suck. And like that's the best part. Like you guys really get butthurt about it, and you guys are like, we had 5 Super Bowls. Bro, I wasn't even alive. I wasn't even a thought in my dad's mind then. Like facts. Like I was just chilling. I don't even know what I was then. But like literally, Cowboys fans, you guys haven't won shit in 20 years. Why are you talking? Why are you getting angry? Because you guys are jealous. You guys want to know what it feels like to win the Super Bowl. In the past 5 years, it's a great feeling. Look, my guy right here, he's smiling because he knows that feeling.
The old heads can be like, they can live in those memories. Cause I mean, when Jimmy Johnson was doing his thing, he was doing his thing. And like the fact that they got rid of that man's, I was like, thank God. Like he had that team riding on. They just had some ballers, man. They just, had like Deion's here. They had like some real ballers. Now, they've just, kind of like fallen to the wayside, and now they just live on those memories. But, here we are.
And they've been dead, though, since like 1995. I was born in 1998. Jack was born in 1999. Look at him.
Shut up, Gayle. I know we're young. We're young. Shut up. We're striving. We're trying to do our best.
Hey, man. You guys are the new breed. You guys are the ones that have to carry us and pick up the torch. So that's why I'm here representing with y'all, because you guys are the next.
Hey, and that's the beautiful thing about Eagles community. I just messaged this guy. This guy has 30,000 followers on Instagram. This guy has 30,000 followers on Instagram. If you aren't following 4th and Jawn, follow it. It is the best thing since sliced bread. I swear to God. I've been following this guy since 2014. He was posting the OG memes, and he hit the nail on the head. We're the next breed. We are going to carry the torch. And that's the beautiful part about Eagles Nation is we all love each other. We all react. Like, you just go up to somebody and you're like, hey, I'm an Eagles fan. And immediately it's like, cool, what's up? You know?
Hey, when I'm in a nursing home, I want Dalton. I want you to feed me Jello. Like, I'm like, remember that time I went to your podcast?
You want the replays too? Like, you want like the highlights of like whoever's the QB then, and then you can talk shit. Like, we
record this shit. Like, these are the receipts right here. I'm like, you said you'd feed me Jello, Dalton. It's true. These are facts.
That's the beautiful part about Eagles Nation. And you know what the beautiful part about Eagles Nation is? Hey, Dallas sucks.
This is true. We can all collectively agree on that.
Taxes in Dallas sucks. I mean, you gotta love it.
Let's just address the Dallas fans in the room because I know that they're watching from that NFC, East group chat, and they're like, you know what? Hurts had a terrible playoff game. All right, that's my best country accent. You guys are terrible. Let's just address the elephant in the room for all those in the NFC East group chat. Stay around, watch. We're gonna talk about our own mistakes. Play on the left could have been a touchdown. Play on the right was an interception. Declan, we'll start with the outside opinion, Giants fan. Bro, I mean, what were your thoughts on watching this game with these two plays?
I mean, look, man, it's very similar to another game that we saw earlier this year and a few games we saw earlier this year. I think, I chalk it up to nerves or whatever you want, but I don't think there's too much to take out of it other than that he had a bad game, The Bucs defense is very good. Like, I think it was one of the most underrated this season. I think it was super injury prone, which is why it got slept on. And they played up to their best, but obviously, I mean, Jalen missed some looks and that's going to happen, but I wouldn't think that's, too big of an issue. I think that's something that can be coached and fixed because we've seen it happen this season, and I wouldn't worry about it too much is what I'm trying to say, I think. If it happens again next season, that's a different story. But this season, I think he gets a little bit of a pass.
What are you thinking, Gayle? I mean, you watched this game firsthand. What were your thoughts watching these two plays? Because immediately when I saw the play on the left, man, I was going crazy. I was pissed.
Well, I think it's something that we've been seeing all season. Like, his eyes getting downfield or getting to his, like, second or third read is where he kind of falls apart, and I think the way that teams are trying to, defend against the Eagles, it's like take away their best option. Our second and third wideouts aren't going to terrorize you. You got two men over top. They were having their way. It was like Burger King, man, with us. So I mean, for Jalen, it's now where he's got to start throwing with anticipation. Like some of these throws, like I was talking about, the elite quarterbacks will throw you open. So I'm not going to say he can't get there, but I'm saying this is the kind of traits that you want to build your passing attack around. He's thrown some guys open during the season. When you see that, you're like, yes, this is like what we need. But it's like we need consistency out of him in the passing game. And if I'm a defensive unit, all I'm doing is taking away. I'm taking away Devonta Smith, and I'm making you beat us with Reagor, or Quez, or I'm taking away your two best options. And I guess you just saw how predictable we were. I mean, you went up against an elite coaching staff, an elite team, and you saw how we got pantsed. We did get pantsed.
Did you guys go into the game too? Like, you guys got tickets and everything, so you saw it like firsthand. This play on, like this play right here, for example, with Devonta Smith and the pick, like on the right. Like, what was your you went into the game and everything?
Oh, me? Oh, yeah.
Like this play on the right. Like, I mean, this, like seeing this, like, were you upset? Like, were you like understanding? Because he was getting blitzed. I
was in the left. I was right. That was right in front of me.
Oh, really?
So it was just like, this is the one on the interception where Trey Thomas actually did a good breakdown on this play,
Yeah.
where he was saying that the issues could have been with the protection. Now you could have taken they could have done a slide protection instead, where you had Boston Scott. He had to block the man on the defensive end on the edge rusher on the right hand side, instead of, if there was a different protection, Boston Scott could have easily just blocked to the left. Instead, he went right, and then the guy that caused pressure was from the left. So, and then he threw the pick. But it's, oh man,
it was tough.
Backbreaker.
It was really tough to watch. I mean, Jack, you watched this. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think I'll answer this, and then I'll have a question to ask Gayle about the game. Anyway, I think this game, these options he had wide open. He just didn't seem like he was himself. We've seen him be a really good quarterback in the before the playoffs, and every decision he made in the playoff game just didn't make sense. He had wide open receivers. Even Joe Buck and Troy Aikman were saying, "Why aren't you going Devonta Smith? Like, he's wide open every time," which I was surprised, because the Bucs know that he's one of our key receivers on our team. Why aren't they covering him? He got open when he needed to, and Jalen Hurt just kind of blew it. So I just think, in due time, he's gonna form into a good quarterback, make better decisions. Like we all said, first playoff game on a big stage, especially against the Bucs. So I think we can do a lot better next season. But Gayle, this is a question, and we can all answer it, from one of our co-hosts, Josh. So he said, in your opinion, what's the bigger issue right now? Hurts passing, or the fact that this has been an issue since freshman year at Bama and still really hasn't gotten better? Can we trust Hurts to become a better passer this offseason? Because he really hasn't been the past 6 years, even though it's been an issue his entire career.
I think when it comes to Jalen Hurts, you talk about going back to all those years in college. I mean, how many offensive coordinators has he had? You're talking about continuity and consistency. It'd be nice to have a consistent playbook for him to know where the back doors to all the have all the answers to the test. Like Brady's offense, he knows where all the escape routes are. He knows where to go. Give him an opportunity to be in the same offense 2 years in a row with the same man calling the plays. That could work wonders. I mean, one of our own Eagles quarterbacks, one of the best in the history of this team, Donovan McNabb, kind of alluded to the same thing. It's like you have the guy that you want to build around. You have to give him time and be patient. Again, we know what he can do with his legs, and that's one thing that 90% of I'd say maybe 5% of QBs in this league can do. So they can't do what Jalen does with his legs. That's one thing. But as a passer, start looking at the mechanics. If he's on a 3-step, is he doing a 5-step? And with his arm, you can't add an extra step in and be late with the throw. These are all things he can work on. I was talking on our show about there's a saying, trust the process, right? This has to be Jalen's thing. Trust the pocket, because there's just opportunities for him to step up and keep his eyes downfield and let it rip. I mean, we know he can move, but he does have to trust the pocket. So once he starts thinking, you can see it in his feet. We saw Wentz when he was thinking too much with his feet. Now Hurts is, he got nervous a little bit, got a little shook back there.
Yeah. No, and I think, and then we can move on to the next topic, but I think Hurts kind of held on the ball way too much this last game. If you see all these core quarterbacks like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, who else? All the big name quarterbacks in the league, they get rid of the ball pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Well, they hang around in the pocket until they need to. They're not going to essentially run out. You know what I mean? That's a good point.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he can learn that, I think it's going to be insane how much he changes from college to now.
Yeah.
But there's another thing that I won't want to like reiterate is like you have a young quarterback, not a polished passer. You have Devonta, a route guy, junior. You have Reagor doing his own thing. Quez flashing some some ball skills out there. He'll come up with some solid catches there. Not a super nuanced as a route runner. So team that up with a quarterback who's developing as a passer, and your 2 and 3 aren't. They're not super developed. It's just not a great recipe for like early success against solid defenses. Like I think they're very easy. Like you get a Devonta Adams or some veteran wide receiver across from Devonta Smith. Now Devonta could be your 1A or whatever, or a wide receiver 2 to a Devonta Adams as your. Now you're working with. It's all about the matchups against. What are your wide receiver 2 and wide receiver 3 going up against? Like a Devonta Smith against their team's second corner, he's eating that up all day. So that's why I'm really adamant about getting a veteran wideout, a proven.
Okay. So that was kind of a good transition. So let's talk about the free agency right now. There's a lot of key players, big players that we might get rid of and that we may need to re-sign or sign on to our team. What do you think?
Shout out to the background too, Jack. Give me a shout out.
Yeah, Dalton worked real hard. Gayle, I don't know if remember backyard football?
Yep,
Backyard football, yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the graphic that Dalton made up, and it's really good. So this is kind of a good example of what we got and what we don't got. So thank you, Dalton, for working on this. You worked your ass off on it.
I love you, Jack.
Attaboy,
Thank you.
Dalt.
That was the most beautiful thing you ever said to me. I might want to kiss you after this. But our restricted and our unrestricted free agents, like on the left, we got Singleton, we got Greg Ward, we got B. Scott, we got Nate Herbig, and then unrestricted, we got Jordan Howard, Derek Barnett in the back here, Anthony Harris, Rodney McLeod, and then Steven Nelson. I'll kick it off real quick, guys. I'll be real quick. Here are the guys that I want to keep, and a quick synopsis why. I want to keep Singleton because he broke the single-season record for tackles this year. I want to keep B. Scott because he's the New York Giants' kryptonite. I want to keep Greg Ward because we can use him as a wide receiver 5. I want to keep Jordan Howard because he can pound the ball up the middle. I want to keep Anthony Harris because I don't think we're going to get another safety next year unless we draft one. I want to keep Steven Nelson because I think at worst he can be a good slot corner. And I want to definitely keep Rodney McLeod because I think that this team is passionate. Nate Herbig, Derek Barnett, you guys can walk. I'm sorry. Who else can take it?
Interesting.
I don't know. I mean, it's like, do you really want to pay? How much is Steven Nelson going to demand? I mean, like, when you can go to the draft and scoop maybe a Sauce Gardner. I mean, because you paid Devonta, right? So Darius Slade is locked up for a little bit. So, can you afford to throw more money at another corner, or can you hit the draft and get your starter right there? I mean, Steven Nelson, he came on. He was definitely very serviceable, reliable. I just reached out to him like a couple weeks ago. He sent us a DM to our IG, and I just saw it like 9 weeks later. He's like, "Hey, would love to partner with you guys on some like NFT stuff." And I was like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I just saw this message, and he's like, he would just liked it, and I was like, damn, bro.
Let me ask you this.
Damn, bro.
Let me ask you this, Gayle. And we'll keep going on with this topic. Real brief. How did you get this well known to have a pretty awesome NFL player DM you?
Yeah, tell us a little bit more about 4th and Jawn. That was one thing we want to talk about. We can get back to the free agents in a minute, but tell us about how 4th and Jawn started, where that came from. That was definitely something that we definitely want to talk about for a little bit.
Me and my boy E, you might know him as E-Rock on all socials. I was a draft analyst at NBC Sports. I left there, and then I decided I really wanted to get more involved in podcasting because podcasting was just budding. But I was like, we decided to like give Eagle fans a little bit more closer look at the team that they love and just a more just like boots on the ground because that's who we are as Eagle fans. I'm an analyst, but I'm like I'd rather be a fanalist. This is more fun. Like I could, doing like mock drafts and having people threaten to kill you over your selections is kind of stressful too. But so we just did this podcast and it started growing. Shout out to my guy Prime there. And it's just a lot of Eagle fans. We all came together, started tailgating, started going to a whole bunch of events. The Super Bowl run was a big part of building our brand, and just a lot of really solid Eagle fans that have all come together. And now it's like tailgates have been a thing. Like you have random Eagle players show up, or like Eagles president will show up, and we had Randy Moss, Charles Woodson, Harold Carmichael, Quentin Michael.
Wait, make that face again, Jack. Hold on. Look at this face, Gayle. You gotta put that hand on your head like you had a
Ross Tucker, Kyle Brandt, Dr. Oz showed up 3 weeks ago, and we served him a cheesesteak, and we're like, and then we didn't know he was running he's running for Senate or something.
Yeah,
and we're like, we don't know his politics or anything. We just like I know Dr. Oz from like Oprah or something, and then next thing you know, we're getting hate messages and people are calling you fraud. And like what like I don't even. They're like I started Googling stuff. I'm like okay. I was like maybe all right. I'll delete that post, but it's just that's the whole thing with a lot of stuff that we do. It's really random. Like and I encourage Eagle fans. I was talking to Dalton earlier. I'm like, you just show up. If you want to hang out and be a regular, and next thing you know, you come every week, and people send their family members, or I'm down in Tampa at a tail, or we threw a party at some random place. We rolled into Tampa, and then the guy's like, I got to find a place to throw a party. This place is like, hey, we'll give you this 300-seat audience thing, and we have at it with the stage. I'm like, how much does it cost? They're like, no, it's free. I'm like, free?
What the fuck?
So
Jack, we gotta go to Tampa next year, bro. We gotta just rock with Gayle. He knows what's up.
But it's about like you can't like some of these things just happen. So like it's about getting out there and doing things and like connecting with the community. And then we hooked up with Philly Sports Trips at their tailgate the next day. It was like a pep rally, and then the next thing you know, you're talking to Devonta Smith's family and hanging with his family, and so I'm hanging out with his mentor, and you get these like opportunities because you're there, like you're always out there, boots on the ground, and I'm getting to talk to his mom about like, hey, as an Eagle fan, we really appreciate what Devonta Smith means to us.
Yeah.
It's just like he's just been a gem of a person, a player, and then you're like, you get to tell his dad and mom like, we thank you for making him, giving birth. Super swaggy. Mom is cool. You just have these moments. Like we were out in Canton and we met Brian Dawkins' wife. We had a sign, and we're running around Canton, and Brian Dawkins' wife is like, at the end, he's like, baby, where you get that sign from? And I'm like, oh, we made it. And then I'm like, Connie Dawkins? And then next thing you know, she's like, come hang out with the family. I'll get this signed. And you have one sent to us. So my boy, he had one sent up. We sent it to Brian Dawkins. Now it's sitting in his gym now. So what? Brian Dawkins came on a podcast like 2 months ago. But like I said, all these things happen when you go travel, when you're
That's
there.
The beautiful part about Eagles community. You're so right.
And Gayle, let me ask you this. So how long did this take you? Because one issue we are worried about is blowing up as a brand new podcast. We are one season deep. Dalton's like kind of stressing out about it. Like, I'm like, dude, calm down. Like, we got this. I know it takes time. How long did it take you to get to where you're at now?
Well, before I started this, I was doing my own like blog for like 7 years before that popped, and then I ended up. I got stories, man. So I mean, the fact that I was telling people, I was like, one of these days I'm going to get to NBC Sports, and then the guy that was running Roto World at the time lived in my building. Went to a Christmas party, and the guy was like, "Hey, what do you do?" I'm like, "Hey, write for my own blog called Skinny Post," and the guy's like, "Skinny Post, I've heard of you." And like I modeled a lot of our content after Roto World and kind of putting out stuff like that. And he's like, I run Roto World, and went out for drinks. And next thing you know, a month later, I'm a draft analyst with NBC Sports. So I mean, it's just these things happen again because you're putting yourself out there. So it's you guys just being genuine, being yourselves. That's really important. It's really about being really authentically who you are, and just putting out authentic content. Like if this is who you are, people get it. Like again, first time I saw your thing, I get how crazy y'all are because you guys have the look in your eye and you see you get it. So I mean, so it's all about finding your tribe. So like a lot of when you connect with Eagle fans, like I remember meeting some people, and I got all this like confetti. I'm getting confetti at the Super Bowl parade. I'm like throwing like bags of this stuff. I'm like, what am I gonna do with this? But I started sending out bags of green stuff, not the real green stuff, but green confetti, green confetti, and then just mailing it out to people. And then I linked up with all these Eagle fans, and a guy will show up to your tailgate and say, shout out to my boy Benny. He's like, dude, you didn't know me. You sent me a bag of green confetti, and now he comes like all the time. And these are the kind of authentic relationships that I hope that you guys continue to grow. And it's all about being there. I know Dalton asked prior to the show, he's like, hey, can we just show up? And then it's you start meeting people, and this is really what it is. Like if you really want to do this stuff, if you build it, they will come. So if you're not out there building it, don't expect for anyone to come if you're not building it.
Right.
And Gayle, transition into our next topic. I mean, I wanted to use this graphic. This will be our last topic of the night. Mirror, mirror on the wall. Will Howie fuck us after all? We'll kick it to the Giants fan first. I want to give him a piece to say this. Give an outside opinion. What are you thinking, Declan? And will Howie fuck us after all?
I mean, look, I don't want to sound like Salucci here. I don't want to beat a dead horse like Salucci. Shout out to him. But I don't know, man. I could really see it going either way because he's so hit or miss in the draft anymore. It's like, dude, I don't.
It's like Malata hit. It's like everybody in the late round hit. Everybody in the early first 3 rounds miss. It's like, wait,
it's
what?
Exactly what it is.
I don't know. What are you thinking, Gayle? Like from an outside opinion.
Okay. Declan, what were you about to say?
Yeah. Declan,
no. I was just gonna say that's where you have to hit. That's where those are franchise turning players in those first couple rounds. And if he can't figure that out, I don't know, man. I don't see it ending well.
I think, you do have to give him props for getting us a Super Bowl a couple years ago. Like, I mean, that's one thing that you like. And I think what has happened and transpired is like, we don't know exactly what moves he was behind or how big his head got. Like I've heard back, from people who on the inside who have said that, they are so involved in everything. Like some players are like, I've never seen a GM and owner this involved on the sidelines during practices. So they're very hands-on. So they feel like they did something. So, I mean, like I respect them for getting a Super Bowl, but it's a part where that they have to start developing the culture. kudos to the 2019 class, because them guys are hitting right now. Between Sweat, Avante, Malata, those guys are becoming the foundation of this team. But now, I mean, this with the 3 picks, I strongly, there's a lot of talent there for them to scoop up. We have money. We can easily acquire some free agents in here.
Yeah, like going on that comment, like who would you rather have? We'll say Mike Williams, Allen Robinson, or Calvin Ridley, because I know you're hearing those rumors too.
The Bama connection's nice. He's also a route guy. Devonta admire his routes as an Alabama wide receiver. He dealt with some mental issues last year. What is that going to cost you? Are you willing to give up it's not normal that a wide receiver takes off a whole year because of mental health issues, but
no, totally understand. But Tom made a good point. He said at our last episode, he said, hey, not knocking anything on mental health, but same thing you just said. It's not normal that some guy takes a whole year off of an NFL season. Like, that's like a big deal, because that's stats these guys really, really care about, their long-term effect. That graphic on the right, just to show you guys what Devonta did. But yeah, it's really interesting to see like what he did.
It's definitely a different beast. Social media these days is like very hands-on. Like, I don't know how these players do it. Like, you guys get some troll comments here, so somebody, and you think about that shit all day. Meanwhile, these guys get death threats in their DMs.
You turn on the radio and people are screaming about you, and you have one bad day and you're kicked out of the city base. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, you have to realize that these guys are like regular dudes, and it's funny because we were at the Washington game and we ended up meeting Sirianni and Slay and we met a whole bunch of dudes, and then we were there with J. Jaw and his mom, and you look at you think J. Jaw and the meme with the umbrella, when you realize that it was taken out of context, like that whole scenario was taken out of context. But like when you see a mom and son moment, you're like, dude, this is just regular dude having a moment with his mom, and like he was all appreciative that we gave his mom some space to come on in. We were boxing people out for her, but you just you realize they're regular dudes. But then the next week he drops the ball and you're just like but it's you're just trying to like realize that these guys, there's a human side to these dudes. But we how our fans are. Like we got to the point that we're booing our own players like Reagor while he's about to catch a punt. And I've been a punt returner. Like, I realized you're super focused. Crap. Like, I don't think I've seen that. I don't think I've seen that ever. Eagle fans booing every time I feel
bad for Reagor. Like, it sucks, man. This graphic, the reason I made this, Gayle, is not because I think Reagor sucks. I think Reagor actually has the potential. I just think with mental health and everything and this city, I think it's over.
It's tough.
It's tough. It's a tough city to play for. And after this, like look at Devonta's face in this. He knows. Like, Reagor's throwing his hands up, and Devonta's like, I feel bad for you because you're about to hear shit from the city. Like, he knows what he got himself into when he was drafted here. He's like, all right, I better catch everything, because if I don't catch one ball, even if it's like a second down or something in the second quarter, I'm gonna hear it. You know what I mean?
But Devonta's a serial killer. Like he's ice in his vein. Like, I met him at the autism challenge, and we're sitting in the parking lot, and I'm looking at all these people like, y'all don't know that's Devonta Smith. Like, I'm going up to talk to him, and very chill, very cool, just calm and collected. But like, he is a guy who's like, he wants the ball 100% of the time. From his freshman year on, like national championship, he's making big plays. That's in his DNA. Like, his competitive nature is not like the rest of the guys on the roster. I think it's great to be around a guy like Devonta. Like, he's just, man, like it takes a lot for me. He was the guy that I wanted. Like, he was the guy. That was my number one. So we got him, and here we are with like, now our Eagle fans are seeing what it looks like. What does a wide receiver one look like that we drafted look like? toe drag swag, all of that in a bag of chips with the dip. This guy's he's flossing on and off the field. That's the very difficult combo to come up with, man.
And you hit the nail on the head, Gayle. That was our game ball of the week was Devonta Smith. You took the words out of my mouth, but moving on. What did you say there, Declan? What did you say about Devonta Smith? You guys wanted him, you Giants fans?
How could you not? Are you kidding me?
Oh,
I mean, look at the guy. And, well, I mean, granted, he probably wouldn't have scored a touchdown just like Kenny Galladay and Kadarius Toney, but, I mean, it would still have been nice to have him on the roster, you know? I mean, nobody to throw it to, but that's life.
That's fact. I mean, like, the thing at the end of the day is this guy's a baller. I think whatever team he plays on, he's going to make an impact. And Eagles fans and, you know, Devonta Smith's mom, if God forbid you're watching on Gayle's channel, we're very happy to have your son. He is a baller. He's a great personality, and I think he's a model of what you want the Philadelphia Eagles to stand for. He's a good person on and off the field, and that says a lot nowadays. I think Devonta, you know, you hear about him, and on the weekends, Devonta isn't partying. He isn't going to bars and stuff. He's out there studying film.
And playing Call of Duty.
Beast.
And the funny thing is, this dude is our age. And like,
he is. I feel old now, Jack. Stop.
Like Gayle said, like they're human beings too. Yes, they're, you know, great athletes, but at the same time, you know, they're at home playing Call of Duty, playing Madden. Like they are a normal person, which is pretty cool. So
I was asking his mom. I said, I was like, I heard that story about him keeping his old car. He's got like an old like Honda Accord, and he got some drip, but he still has the Honda Accord. But you know, besides buying his mom a house, he really hasn't really balled out with his money or anything. But that's the kind of like a regular dude, man. Very humble. I met up with his mentor, his barber. They call him Big Unk. So he, you know, talking to him about, you know, just Devonta, just telling about the stories about him, you know, them sleeping in a pickup truck, you know, going to all these practices and like driving them up and down to all these different camps and stuff. Just hearing those stories is just like so dope. His Big Unk is actually a big sneakerhead, so I'm making him a pair of custom shoes. So
you do custom shoes?
Yeah. There's a couple back here.
If you guys are looking, hit this guy up. I might have to ask you.
Yeah.
Oh, I like those.
For a pair because those I love my Vans. I like to wear the Vans Classics, the low cuts, like them. Oh my god,
that's clean.
You got a.
I was looking for somebody.
You
right
know,
here.
little.
We got the Nikes too. Yeah.
I do Jordans. I do a little bit of everything, but I got some ideas for Trey Thomas in the works. I did pick for Quez Watkins, Avante Maddox has a pair. Rick Lovato. Yeah,
the long snapper.
Yeah, man. I had a piece of artwork that I just got, a Devonta Smith artwork that just came in from you know the girl that does the artwork for the Sixers. She's like it's like cartoon characters.
Oh yeah.
It just came in. I was looking at it earlier. I was just like, if I can find it, I was trying to find it when I was off camera. I was like,
that's why I got up. I saw you get up. I'm like, what is this guy doing?
but it's sick. It's sick. Give me 1 second. Talk amongst yourselves,
dude. If I could afford shoes, man.
Real quick before we wrap up, I want to definitely show what Gayle's about to bring. But look at that artwork in the back. That artwork is sick. I definitely have the same thing of Brian Dawkins right here in the back. But I definitely want to thank him for coming out. Follow 4th and Jawn if you guys aren't. Check us out on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Podcasts at 302BIRDS. We out here. We grinding. You guys already know. Did you find it?
You guys miss me? Did you guys miss me?
Oh, of course.
We did miss you.
Oh, here we go.
Hold on. I'm going to give you the full screen.
Hold on.
Oh, that's clean. That's real clean.
That's dope, man.
That's awesome.
Naruto clouds. I like that a lot.
So hopefully, his Big Unk isn't watching. So I'm going to surprise him with this piece of art. I got two. I got one. I got the one for myself too.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
You
good
gotta
call.
get one. Yeah,
I mean, well,
exactly.
Devonta will be here for a while, but I mean, without further ado, we just got to wrap up because Warzone's got another show after this. But I want to thank everybody for coming through tonight. I want to thank Jackson for coming through, aka Jordan. I want to thank Declan, our Giants fan, for coming through, and of course, I want to thank Fourth and Jawn co-founder Gayle Saunders, diehard Eagles fan. We're definitely going to come up to your tailgates next year.
Appreciate y'all.
This is
Appreciate
the start
y'all.
of a beautiful friendship. Yeah, round of applause. But we usually say do the honors and hit the outro. So if you want, Gayle, do the honors.
Do the honors. Am I supposed to say something?
Hit the outro.
Tell us hit the outro.
Yo, hit the outro.